Good morning. As you know, This Morning's not on air today, but following the pretty cataclysmic news that Thomas Cook has ceased trading overnight, we're going on our digital channel to answer as many of your questions as we possibly can. And we're kicking off with expert Martin Lewis on this one. Hi, Martin. Morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it is a sad day for customers and staff of Thomas Cook, but most people, most customers at least, are going to be all right and get their money back and get home. But there are some issues here. I think that what I want to start by saying to everybody is, because it's early on Monday morning and this happened at 2 o'clock in the morning, this situation is a bit like a wobbly jelly. We've got some solidity, but there's lots that's still fluid that we're going to learn over the next day or two. So if you're calling your bank or you're calling a provider and they say, we don't know yet, or they give you an answer you don't like, it's probably because the meetings haven't been had by the big bosses to decide the policies yet.
All right, let's start running through the questions. We're inundated, as you can imagine. The first is from Claire, who says, I've had 2 holidays cancelled and I bought my visas last week. Can I claim on insurance for this and the car parking too?
OK, so when you have travel insurance, most travel insurance policies do not include travel firm collapse insurance. So this isn't something that is usually covered on travel insurance. That's not an absolute. Some higher-end policies have it, and some people have opted in for it. So it is unlikely you will be able to get that on your travel insurance. You should always call them up and check or have a look at the policy. I would also say that the problem for something like a visa is you've got the visa. The visa isn't invalid. So it's one of those stuff happens type questions. You should get your main money back. I think it may be a struggle to get things, ancillaries that you've paid for back on this case. I mean, there's an argument saying you could say it was consequential loss and registered to be a creditor of the company, but that's not going to get you anything back in reality, or a few pence back anyway.
Rachel says, I have a direct debit with them until the 1st of November, but should I cancel it? That's a good question. Should she?
That's the biggest question I've been getting, actually, this morning. Both, is my direct debit money safe, and should I cancel? And my team and I have been working ferociously to get an answer. I need to be absolutely straight with you. We do not have the answer yet. So my advice for today is do nothing. If a payment's going out, let it go out. What you don't want to happen is you cancel a payment today and that invalidates your ATOL protection. I've had some soft guidance saying that it probably will be a case if you cancel now and claim the remainder back later, but for now, do nothing. And if people, my full guide on the website, we're working through everybody's questions.
Right.
We hope to have an answer to that by 5 o'clock tonight, and we will publish it then. But that is perhaps the biggest tricky block we've got at the moment, is the direct debit payment and exactly what you should be doing.
So it's
and we
quite
still
clear
have no
that
official answer on it.
Remains in a state of flux, and wait till 5 o'clock and then decide what to do. Kellyanne says, well, we hope you'll have an answer by then. Kellyanne says, my friends have woken up to the news that they've lost their dream wedding and holiday to Mexico in under 2 weeks. They spent thousands of pounds, but will they be able to get a refund any faster so they have time to pay the resort themselves? It's a wedding.
Some people are getting refunds are being told they're getting refunds within a couple of weeks, is the information that's happening through, and some people are already being told they're getting money already. It is just a depends matter. They're certainly going to get a refund on the holiday element. Depending how the wedding was booked, they may get a refund on the wedding element, but not necessarily all the ancillaries, in which case they'll want to go to their credit or debit card provider to do a chargeback or Section 75 claim. I can explain the difference between those two in a moment if you like.
Yes.
But as for the speed of money, this is one of the times we just don't know. There has never been a refund and repatriation system as quick as this, as large as this before, and it depends if people can dot their I's and cross their T's in time. So I wouldn't bank on it, would be my answer. I would hope for it, but I wouldn't bank on it. You've
got to feel desperately sorry for all the brides and the grooms out there, haven't you, and all the families. I mean,
I've heard so many. I spoke to a woman this morning whose brother had been shot, and the money that he'd left was paying for the wedding that they were due to go to in 2 weeks. I mean, it's just some horrible tales out there.
I spoke to a bride who was going to get married on Thursday in Zante and now won't be able to. Lorraine says, we have a gift travel card set up with Thomas Cook to go towards our honeymoon. Will we be able to claim back the outstanding balance that's on the card?
So I just want to check. If it's a voucher for Thomas Cook itself, then, I mean, it's why I always warn never to get vouchers. Cash is so much better. Vouchers aren't safe. It is very unlikely you're going to get your voucher money back. You might become a creditor for the company. A chunk of the company might be sold to somebody else, but that voucher probably isn't worth much. Put it in a drawer, cross your fingers, but don't hope for much. If what you've done is you've got a travel cash passport, like a prepaid card for Thomas Cook, then that is actually technically just a brand, and it's a company called Wisecard who are underneath that brand, and then your money is safe on that. So slightly by the phrasing, I wasn't sure which one it is. Hopefully that answers a question one way or the
final
other.
question for you, Martin, and it's from Sean, who says, we have a honeymoon booked with them and paid with debit card, with some being paid in cash. Will we be able to get our money back?
If you booked a package that is at all protected, and there are other variants, there's an ABTA version and a couple of others, you should get a full refund. If you booked flight only and it isn't protected by any of the travel policy protections, and you aren't one of the rare people who has the special travel collapse insurance policy, then you'll be looking to your card company to repay you. A credit card, you'd go for Section 75, which is a legal protection. It means the card company is jointly liable with the retailer for things over £100. The only issue there is if you book through an agent, which can break the causal link you need to make that work. But even if that happens, then you would look at a chargeback, which is what debit card people and people with credit cards under £1 look for, which is where you ask your bank to do a charge back from Thomas Cook's bank because you haven't received what you paid for. If you paid in cash and you don't have any of those protections, that's what I say. Always put it on a plastic credit card.
That's
Make
what
sure you pay it off in full.
Say.
That's what I've been saying
Martin,
for years.
thank you very much indeed. It's all very detailed and it's all still kind of in the mix, isn't it? But we appreciate all you've been able to tell us today. Thank you very much indeed, Martin Lewis, there, the consumer expert, joining me live here. Harry Wallop, hello, nice to see you.
Hi, good to see you, Vanessa.
Also a consumer expert with lots to say about this. And also down the line, we're talking to Simon Calder, the travel expert. Hi, Simon.
Yeah, good morning. What a sad, sad day. As Martin was rightly saying, my heart goes out to the fantastic Thomas Cook staff and also the up to 1 million people who are now scrabbling around. Their flights have been cancelled. And can you believe I was actually booking a holiday with Thomas Cook just over 2 hours before they went bust, and they sold me £187 going to Corfu next month from Stansted, or rather I won't be, but they were taking money in that close to the
people have been saying all morning, how could they have been allowed to do that? How could they have been allowed, Harry, to be advertising, for example, so close to the wire as they were?
I mean, they're sort of in a catch-22 position because, of course, if they had said we're in real trouble, we can't take any more money in, then they have a sudden stop of cash flow, and then that would have pushed them over the edge. So though, understandably, everyone is really furious that they were still taking money in, I'm not sure they had any other options, really. If they thought there was the smallest chance they could have been rescued, then they had to keep on being a viable operation, and that involves taking money.
Well, as you can both imagine, we're inundated with questions here, so let me try and run through as many as we can, as quickly as we can. So this is for you, Harry. It's from Holly, who says, jobs and holidays have been taken away from people with immediate effect. So why can't we claim our money back until the end of the month?
Well, it's mostly because it's a really, really big, large-scale operation. We've never really seen anything like this. I mean, Monarch did go bust a couple of years ago, and even then that took a good couple of months. So the CAA, Civil Aviation Authority, is saying, frankly, you're not going to get any money back until the end of November. It's just a very cumbersome scheme. Whenever we take a flight, we pay a small amount of money, £2.50, that goes into this pot, which is now being used to rescue Thomas Cook passengers, but it just takes a long time to administer. And I think with Monarch, some people didn't get their money back until a year later.
Oh, my gosh, that's so long with all this disappointment, isn't it? Simon, this is one for you. It's from Tracy, who says, I have a holiday booked with Thomas Cook and have no idea what happens now or how to start a claim, even to get my money back.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Up to 1 million people in your position. If you booked it, of course, with a Thomas Cook travel agency, they're not going to be open. What you need to do is, if you can, get online or ask somebody to help you with the process. Everything is there available. Just search online for CAA and Thomas Cook, and you will be get to the right place where you put in all the details of what you've got, and then eventually, as Harry was just saying, sometime your money will come back to you. But in the meantime, of course, what you really wanted was a holiday. And I tell you what, the prices of those have gone up. The first hour of trading today, EasyJet and the travel giant TUI, their share price went up 6% each.
Gosh.
Because the stock market thought, well, they'll be able to put their prices up now.
Oh,
Thomas
my
Cook has
goodness,
gone.
wasn't that quick? Here's another one for you, Simon. It's from Candy, who says, I've paid a deposit of £1,200 for a holiday in July 2020. Who do I contact to try and get my money back?
I guess that's roughly the same answer. If you book through Thomas Cook and it's a package holiday, then you will get your deposit back. At least you've got a little bit of time. If you're not going till next July, you've got time to shop around and find an alternative holiday. But it is, as Harry was saying, going to be a slog getting that cash back. OK,
another one for you, Simon, from Emily. I have a package holiday booked with Thomas Cook, but the flights are with EasyJet. So are my flights safe?
Well, funnily enough, I think they are. I've been onto the EasyJet, and they believe, and I share this confidence, that because they're a scheduled airline, that flight will definitely be going. It will have a seat on it for you. You can go online if you've got the 7-digit code which begins with an E, and you can go on to manage my booking. You can probably just check in, and those will be going. Then you get the problem with accommodation. You're probably going to have to sort that out yourself. But ultimately, when you've done all that, you've had your holiday, you then come back and you say to the Civil Aviation Authority, here's the story, here's the extra that we have to spend on hotels, please will you give this back? And my understanding is that you will get it back.
Very cumbersome procedure, though, isn't it? This is one for you, Harry. It's from Christine, who says, can the senior management of Thomas Cook be held accountable for all the staff losing their jobs and people losing their holidays?
Well, yes, in some ways they can be. The company's now gone insolvent. It's gone all the way from administration into insolvency, which is essentially there's no hope for the company. So the Insolvency Service, which is run by the government, can investigate, and it has investigated in the past. Do you remember when Carillion, a massive construction company that had government contracts, when that collapsed, there was an investigation, and they have powers to either disbar directors if they think there was wrongdoing on the part of directors for as much as 15 years, which means after being extremely well paid at Thomas Cook, they might not be able to get another job, or in the most severe circumstances, and there is no suggestion this is the case.
No, can I just pick up on this one? That's all I wanted to do, yeah.
OK.
Yeah, I want...
No suggestion with this is that there's been any criminal wrongdoing. But if there has been criminal wrongdoing, then in theory, then of course, the directors, could be put on trial.
Yes, Simon, you wanted to pick up on something
there.
Oh,
I'm sorry to heckle.
Don't worry,
Harry,
it's all right,
absolutely
it's allowed.
Right, and he knows all about the insolvency laws, and that's great stuff. I know a bit about Thomas Cook, and my reading is that you cannot say one individual got it completely wrong. There was a succession of misadventures, bad strategic decisions, and there was quite a lot of bad luck as well. And so I don't think this inquiry is going to reveal, oh no, Mr. or Ms. X did this and that brought Thomas Cook to its knees. It was just going on. Really, you could go back to 1994, I calculate, to work out what they should have done right to avoid this terrible day today.
Right, let me ask you this one. It's from Lauren, who says, I've been trying, Harry, to spend vouchers with them since Friday so that I wouldn't lose them. And they blamed a system issue for why they couldn't be taken. Will I be able to claim the value from anybody?
Well, Martin was saying earlier, vouchers are, I'm afraid to say, absolutely useless now. They are a bad form of currency. You could, in theory, go to the bottom of the queue along with all the creditors, all the people who are owed money by Thomas Cook, and it's possible you might get, for every £100 worth of vouchers, get a couple of quid back, but I wouldn't hold out any hope.
Simon, what about cruises? Kathy says, what about cruises that are run by Thomas Cook? Will they be affected?
Well, the good thing is Thomas Cook didn't run cruises, and so therefore it may well be that she booked a cruise through Thomas Cook, and in that case you're probably going to find that the cruise line actually has your money, your booking, and you just turn up normally. If the money hasn't made its way through, it's got lost somewhere in the system, then you will get that money back, but meanwhile you're going to have to pay again for the cruise. So cruise is actually quite because Thomas Cook didn't run them, there's a good chance you'll actually get the holiday that you thought you paid for.
All All right. How about this? This is from Sharon. She says, my nephew's currently in Greece and due home on Thursday, but the hotel are telling them that they have to leave the hotel today. Gosh, surely the hotel will have been paid up front by Thomas Cook and can't make them leave. And I'll tell you a story I heard this morning from somebody who said, I'm in my hotel, I've got 2 little kids, it's meant to be all-inclusive. They're telling me I can't have food, they're saying.
Yeah.
Because although I paid for it up front.
Right, you've paid for it up front. Thomas Cook has not paid for it because they tend to pay a month or 2 in arrears. So therefore, there's an awful lot of money that hoteliers aren't going to be getting. In this particular case, though, the Civil Aviation Authority tells all the hotels, look, we know you're upset, we know you're angry, but those Brits you've got there at the moment, we are going to foot their bill. So please be nice to them. Keep them on the same board arrangements as you've got, so you can't take away food and you cannot make them pay again or say, oi, you've got to leave. The Civil Aviation Authority, backed by the government, will be paying those bills.
Well, thank you very much to my panel this morning. And you know, we really are so sorry for all the disappointment and the heartbreak and the heartache and the worry. We hope we've given you some information to help pilot you through it. Have a good day.